Good morning, fellas. Just wanted to point out a few truths of history. Islam and Jihad began around about Medina. This is where Muhammad started his cult, his ideology, whatever you want to call it. And it was a robbery, theft cult. And he was a slave dealer. And in the Quran it states he did kill people with his own knife. We mustn't forget this. They say he was such a perfect individual, an ideal role model. Well, if he's an ideal role model, the only person he's an ideal role model to would be a mass killer, like Bundy or somebody. Yes, and it burst out quickly. They quickly swept through this whole area. This whole area was Christian, of course, don't forget. There was a Jewish section near him, and this whole area. And the head of the Eastern Assyrian Church was in Istanbul, which was then called Constantinople. And when they swept towards this way, the Seljuk Turks, they were very bloodthirsty. They used to skin people, they used to, torment people, take kids as sex slaves. This is what Muhammad did, unfortunately. And they were only stopped in southern France at the Battle of Tours in 732, I think it was. Yes, and then they were stopped by Roman Catholic gold. Paid for a Frankish, which was a Germanic French tribe, and they stopped them at the Battle of Tours. Google it, T-O-U-R-S, Battle of Tours. And they stopped them there, pushed them out into Spain, and just afterwards, instilled with confidence and what have you, they pushed the black Islamic people, the black jihadists, slave takers, out of Spain, and they pushed them back onto North Africa. But it's a matter of fact that this whole area was Christian. In Egypt, there's still a few Coptic Christians, to call them there, and around here, Assyrian Christians. As we know, the Yazidis, who were, slaughtered en masse by ISIS, were basically early Christians who've had a very hard time. And as we know, just last year, there was a couple of churches bombed in Egypt. Because in their holy book, it says they should do this. It says they should chase us out. They should take the whole world for Allah, for the grace of Allah. And you can go back as long as you like. There used to be a slave market in Aleppo, and a lot of the Christian slaves and what have you would be sold there. But the prize for most of them, it states all through the Quran, were the very valuable child sex slaves. Yeah, this is what built Islam. The child, crying, terrified child sex slaves from, Sicily. These were very valued because they were lighter skinned and pretty. Obviously southern France and Spain, again, far lighter skinned. And we must remember that being light skinned has always been seen as being very noble and very valuable, because Prophet Muhammad was very light skinned. It states he was a white man. He was the only. There's a couple of sections where people called to see Muhammad, and he was the only white man in the room. So you could see straight away, oh, it's that white man sat with those Arabs. So it's a matter of fact, all this area was Christian. I want all these, like, my niece is a teacher, and even she knows nothing about this. She believes it, to get it pushed into, brainwashed at the university, it's a religion of peace. And actually, it was a slave-taking, thieving ideology that started at Medina. And all the Jewish people around here, this was a Jewish area, just about the only Jewish area, apart from a few in Palestine, and they swept out, and in 105 years, they'd taken the whole of Spain. And don't forget, Islam did occupy the whole of Spain. The Moors, the black Islamic people, they occupied the whole of Spain for 400 years. This is a matter of fact. And as we know now, this ideology is spread all down here. So we all do FGM, female genital mutilation, and oppress and kill gays all over the world.